Sometimes things don't always go as planned. Welcome back to the channel. We're going to do something a little different today. We're going to discuss a situation that can happen to any off-roader, getting stuck. This happened to me on my recent trip to Ash Canyon. Let's rewind the video and take a deeper look into what exactly happened. As you can see, it was raining, an unusual occurrence in Arizona. If you look closely, right here, you can see where sand has fallen down from the hill and covered half the trail. My front tires went over it without any issue, but as my rear tires got onto it, the back end of the Jeep started swinging out over the edge of the trail. So the question is, what do you do when this happens? In this situation, I decided to use my winch. But as you can see, the selection of anchor points is sparse. I had to use a tree that was almost at the full reach of my cable and up the hill a little bit. In this rare opportunity, where I present myself before the camera, I'd like to point out, I always go off-roading in hiking clothes and closed-toed boots, just in case something like this happens. You never know when you'll be climbing up a steep hill, or worst case scenario, hiking home from the trail. So what I just did there was extend the winch cable. My winch has a portion towards the end that is red. You don't want to use the winch to pull the vehicle with the red part showing. I end up tightening the cable, and the setup will be correct when I put a load on the winch. And as you can see, I grabbed the tree saver. This is a thick strap with loops on either end that you can wrap around a tree so that your winch cable doesn't damage it. It isn't necessary, but it's more environmentally friendly. And if you take care of your trails, you'll continue to have trails to enjoy. Now, when using a tree to pull yourself out of a stuck area, you really have to be careful when picking your tree. If you pick the wrong one, you could end up pulling the tree out of the ground, and then you can really put yourself in a pickle. I went with the scientific method and chose the tree with the thickest trunk. At this point, we're hooking up the controller, and I lift the hood to turn on the winch, and then I put tension on the cable. In a tight spot where you don't have a winch, a high lift jack like the one on my hood could also be used with a couple of tow straps to pull you out as well. What I'm doing here is using the winch cable to prevent me from going backwards down the hill while trying to use the Jeep to get out of the sand. What I should have done was thrown the Jeep into neutral and let the winch do the work. Let's watch. As you can see, the front of the Jeep is being turned towards the anchor point. What you can't see is the back of the Jeep is sliding over the edge of the hill. There's a lot of folks out there who swear by this brand or that brand of winch, and you'll come across people saying things like, "I've never seen my brand burn out on a trail." But there's something about winches that many people don't realize. When you're using a winch, it's not the case of just hit and retract and going full throttle. That's a surefire way to burn out your winch. You've got to give it a breather. Retract for 30 to 40 seconds, and then let it cool down for about the same time. And then wash, rinse, repeat. That's what you see me doing right here. I'm moving forward a few inches, and then I give the winch a chance to cool off. It's not the fastest method, and you've really got to keep your patience about you. When you get inexperienced folks out here who get stuck, they go into panic mode, and that's when patience goes out the window. And that's usually when you end up burning up your winch. And right here you think I got myself out, and the back end just slid further. At this point I had to readjust the winch further down the trail. The good news is I finally thought about putting out a second camera, so I'll spare you the setup and we'll jump to the second pull. As you can see, due to the angle of the anchor point relative to the vehicle, as the winch pulls, the vehicle is attempting to align itself with the anchor point, causing the rear end to swing out. My goal is to maneuver the back end of the vehicle further onto the trail to secure enough traction. What you can't see is I put traction boards under the rear tires in hopes to help, and they actually worked very well in this situation. And with a lot of patience and a little bit of persistence, we're back on the trail and ready to go. And to give you an idea of what I was dealing with, here's the hill that we were on, and there is all the sand that I had to drag the Jeep through. I guess the point of this video is to say, don't be afraid to get out and explore. But if you do, make sure you have the appropriate recovery gear, make sure you know how to use it, and I highly recommend you don't go it alone. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up, and don't forget to check out my social media in the shops. All the details are in the description. Stay safe out there, and go find somewhere new to explore.